Welcome back to the 0-4.1 assignment. So in the previous video, we just looked at example 1. Now we're taking a look at example 2, where we are ordering rational numbers. So we are putting them in order from least to greatest. So this is very, very similar to what we did in the 0-2 assignment. The only difference is now, instead of having all numbers, like real numbers, including rational and irrational, now we're just focusing on rational numbers. So you can order rational numbers by writing all of the fractions as decimals. So again, this is a process that we are familiar with, like we have done this before. So the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to write the fractions as decimals. Write fractions as decimals. So that's the first thing. The next thing we do after we write them as decimals, we're going to rank the decimals. Rank decimals. And then finally, our last step, we are going to write the original numbers in the correct order. Incorrect order. Okay, so 3 steps that we're kind of following, and these steps should be familiar because we did them in the 0-2 assignment. So looking at the numbers here, we have this 5 and 2/9. We've got 5 and 3/8, 4.9, and then negative 5 and 3/5. So what we want to do is we want to write each of these as a decimal. So I'm going to start with the 5 and 2/9. So again, just as a reminder, we did it in example 1 when we did number 4, but we want to do the whole number and then add what the fraction is. So add 2/9. And whenever you do fractions, you always want to put them in parentheses to make sure that you keep the 2 numbers together. So we get 5.2 repeated. So 5.2 repeat, and these ones go together. Then we've got our next one, 5 and 3/8. So I go to my calculator, 5 plus parenthesis 3 divided by 8, close the parenthesis, and we get 5.375. 5.375. So this one goes with that one. Now, sweet deal for us is that the 4.9, we don't have to do anything differently to that because it's already in decimal form. But just as a reminder, we'll highlight those to show that they go together. And then finally, the last piece here, we have negative 5 and 3/5. So this you have to be very, very careful with. So whenever you have a negative mixed number like this, with like a whole number and a fraction, you kind of ignore the negative to do, like to put it in your calculator. So I'm going to do 5 plus the 3/5, just like that, and get my decimal. So it's 5.6, and then I need to remember to add the decimal, or not the decimal, but the negative in afterwards. So negative, and then what the calculator told us was 5.6. So you can't put it in where it's a negative 5 plus the 3/5 because you won't get the correct answer. That is not what we're looking for. So you need to be very, very careful with that. So you put it in as if it's a positive number and then add the negative to your writing afterwards. So this is the pink one. So I'm going to highlight those. Okay, so we've completed the first step. So we wrote each one as a decimal. Our next step, we want to rank these. So put them in order from least to greatest. Now, obviously, looking at these, we've got only one negative, so this is going to be the smallest one, so I'm ranking that as number 1. And then we've got, we're comparing the 5, 5, and 4, so this is the next smallest. And then the 5 and the 5 are the same, so we'll move on to the next place value. So we're comparing a 2 to a 3. A 2 is going to be smaller than a 3, so this comes next. And then finally, in 4th place, the 5.375. So we did from least to greatest. We checked that out. So now we've completed step number 2 where we've ranked the decimals. Now we want to write the original numbers in the correct order. So the first number was this -5 3/5. Then we've got number 2, which was 4.9. Then we've got number 3, which was 5 2/9. And then the last one was this blue one, which was 5 3/8. 5 3/8. So these are our numbers in order from least to greatest. So we followed our steps. We did everything we needed to. Let's take a look at our next one. In our next one, we've got 3 3/8, -3 3/7, 3.45 repeated, and then -3 2/5. So same process that we just did. We are going to put them all into decimal form. So I'm going to do 3 plus the fraction 3 divided by 8 in parentheses, and I get 3.375. So this one is 3.375, and this is the first one, so that's this. Just color coordinating so you can see which ones go with which. So we've got -3 3/7. Remember I said plug it into the calculator as if it's positive, so 3 plus 7 divided by, just kidding, not 7. Ooh, that would have been bad. We want 3 plus 3 divided by 7. Ooh, 3 divided by 7, close the parentheses. It matches up. We get, oh, that's ugly. That is an ugly one. So we are going to write, we have to remember to put the negative in there, and we've got 3.428571429. So this -3 3/7 is that decimal. Ugh. Thank goodness for the next one. The next one they give us is in a form that we feel good about. So we've got the 3.45 with the 4-5 repeating. So we don't have to change that one because it's already in decimal form. And then finally the last one, we have -3 2/5. So pretend it's positive for a second. So 3 plus 2 divided by 5. Yep, numbers are good. We get 3.4, but we want to remember to keep the negative with it. So -3.4. All right, whew. So that was the last one. This one I will highlight in pink. All right, so we've written each one in decimal form. Our next step is to rank. So we've got two negative numbers. We've got the -3.4 and the -3.42. Ugh, so the 3's are the same, the 4's are the same, so we have to go to the next place value, which is the hundredths place, but there's no number in the hundredths place. So I'm going to put a phantom 0 to kind of hold that place value. So we're comparing a 0 to a 2. Now, obviously, a 2 is larger than 0, but still we're talking negative numbers. So the larger the negative number, the lesser it's worth. So this number here, and I want to go back to blue just to keep it consistent. This is the smallest number, -3.42, and then -3.40 would come after it. If it's hard for you to kind of imagine this, think about a number line and how you would plot these on a number line. The -3.40 would be closer to 0 than it is than the -3.42. That would be further to the left. So if it's more to the left, it's going to be a lesser number. If it's more to the right, it's going to be a greater number. So that's why we ranked 1 and 2. Now looking at the positive numbers, we got the 3 and the 3. Those are the same. And then 3 and 4. Those are not the same. The 3 is the lesser of the 2, so that makes this our third ranked number. And then finally our fourth with the 3.45 repeated. So now we've ranked them. The last step in this is just writing out our answer with the original numbers in the correct order. So -3 3/7 is the first fraction. That was the blue one. Pink came next, so -3 2/5. And then our next one we ranked, number 3, yellow, was 3 3/8. And then finally, in fourth place was the green, which was the 3.45 repeated. So that's our process. Your job now is to complete 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you do have a couple in number 10 where you've got the negative mixed numbers. So please remember that you're plugging it into the calculator without the negative, and then just remember to add it in after the fact. Okay. Best of luck. If you guys have questions, you know you can always log back into the Zoom and ask those questions. Good luck and keep working hard.